Hello, guys. I'm gonna make this video a little different. I'm gonna screw my mic for this one. I just wanna hold it in peace. That's funny I say that because that's what this video's about to be about. It's good Diddy shit. It's about demonic work. Unscrew this. Yeah, here we go. Um, and my initial so to get it started, I want to talk about the documentary, The Reckoning, about Mr. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, No Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Um, Immediately, what I drew away from the video I watched, the documentary, is that, no different than what most of us know is that you got enough money, you can escape any problem. You got enough money, you can escape it. You can escape anything, you know what I'm saying? P. Diddy's not known for pushing the needle against his masters. So all this fun he's having on the lower level, he can get away with it. He's going to get away with it as long as he just plays it smart, which he clearly has. That's the thing about him too. Like, we may want to be able to agree that he's sick, terrible person, power hungry, but he is smart. And you have to be smart in the aspect of like this material world to get in his position. To get where he's at, you don't get there accidentally. You don't get industry planted into becoming what P. Diddy is. Like, it just doesn't happen. I also drew from what I watched is that people, if you can give them a perception, it will draw away tons of empathy, tons of just morals. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talk about it's a freako case, not a Rico case, and it just shows how ugly people get to just completely disregard all the women he's clearly hurt on his way to the top. Can we say that they made mistakes? Yes, but just because you make a mistake on judgment, does that mean that you should be taken advantage of? Does that mean you should be physically hurt? Does that mean you should be traumatized? Absolutely fucking not. Nobody would ever think that that makes any damn sense. And it just goes to show that, like, the typical practice in our ways of thinking still sit to this day where we think that, well, because a woman's getting beat on and she goes back to him the next day, she wants it. She's okay with it. Or like the analogy one man was using, this Indian man, he said that because you to clap your hands, both people like one hand, you can't clap if one hand is going like this. It takes another hand. So he's essentially saying like she's taking part in that nonsense. I will say that in the grand scheme of things, do I think that he's right or wrong for everything that happened in the relationship between him and Cassie? I'd say he's wrong, and I'd say that Cassie did also have a responsibility of just like realizing that she should have been moved on. But I'm not gonna blame her for her naiveness, for her wanting to just stay for the dreams she had, the money she wanted, because all originally that's where it started. Those are the things she wanted. Let me take my headphones off too. I don't even need my headphones right now. Um, and that's absolutely true. I would agree with that. That if she would have moved on with her life, she could have been, But people trying to make it to the top, people trying to break through the entertainment circles, they're broke, they're struggling, so they are okay almost every time when they're put in situations where you get to live in a nice house, you get to go on the vacations, you get to go to all the parties, you get to do all these things, but you're still fundamentally broke. Like, you don't have over $100,000 in your bank account. And that's even why I led up to that one Lil Rod. Dude called him Lil Rod, and he changed your whole name. That was crazy. And it just shows that, like, that's why the documentary also showed me there's a ton of power and being okay with being normal, or being okay with things being hard in your life. You know, it's very easy to put up with the bull. And I think that's where a lot of people, essentially victim blame. And that's why it's always suspect. Like watching these scenarios of people blaming Diddy because they're like, oh, yes. And it's like you're coming out now that it doesn't benefit you, or now that like it's kind of okay and acceptable to talk about it. But before, when you were trying to make money, when you were trying to get higher up in the social status, higher up in the hierarchy of entertainment, you you turned a blind eye to tons of the things he did, which just all leads me to just understanding that that position is a game. It's all about just playing it. And if you're gonna play it, don't complain. Like you just can't. You have to just learn how to evolve and boss up in it. And the 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 law of power that Diddy broke and was somehow able to change his life was the law of never try to outshine the master. He took everything his master taught him and wanted to outshine him. And he did. He was able to turn himself into who he is now. And he's been able to somehow make everybody who's tried to break that law against him suffer, crumble. You know, in that realm, he is a genius. He just is. He knows how to work his way. He knows how to get what he wants, and he knows how to do it legally. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, a ton of the things that he's being looked at as a bad person for, we can all say he's a bad person, but can we really say he's a criminal? I guess we really can't. The only thing, that's alluded to and throughout the whole documentary is his participation in Tupac not being here with us no more. I'm not going to get into whether I think that's true or not. I will just simply say that outside of that, he's avoided every major way of really getting implicated in anything illegal because he knows how to play the game. If you have a girl who's willing to constantly come to your freak offs 3 times in a row, by the time she comes to the fourth one, she wants to make it seem like it's oh so bad. It's like, how bad can it be if you were willing to do it 3 times? And that's like the case with a bunch of these civil cases and things that are happening. It's just like free reign because like someone first complained, which was really Cassie, you know what I'm saying? And she's the one that was really hurt from the whole process because at the end of the day, she was just groomed. She was a young girl. She was trying to make it into the entertainment world. And what are we talking about? Me and You. To this day, I just looked it up for a sample. That's literally a song that has tons and tons and tons of views, like over 100 million, I think. Like she has hit songs. He was making her a star. He was surrounding her in a lifestyle she probably really wanted. And when you're young, you just want to be living fast. You want to be partying. You want to do this. You want to be freaky. You want to be having the freak shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was doing. But it gets to a point where now, if I did my research, if you look at her Instagram and everything, she's a mom now. She got kids. She got a husband, and that's just what she wanted. She knew that that wasn't going to be there for her with him, and if he wasn't going to give her that, she wanted money. He wasn't going to give her money. She got out of the relationship. And I think it's just that simple. I think in a lot of ways she's probably way past it. Like, she realizes that it was just his game and she just got out of it. She spent more time with him than a ton of people, so she probably really understands how that mind works and why everything happened for what happened. Because, to be honest, I'm surprised she hasn't like dropped some form of like documentary or something to kind of tell her story and get that out there. Maybe she has, I have no idea, but I'm just surprised if that is the case, that it's not like very major or anything like that. Um, I would be surprised because at the end of the day, like I said, I feel like she's just past it. I don't think she really looks at herself as really a victim. I think she looks at herself maybe as just like a girl who's naive and she was groomed and she stuck around for things just wanted to live that good life and just realizing that where she wanted it to go, it was never going to get there. She just got out of it. It's easy for us to judge on the outside looking in because, You know, so many of us want to think we're better people than Diddy, and we want to think, "Well, I would never hit my girl. Oh, the best if I saw a guy hit me, I'd never do that." Da, 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 da. But you ain't never had a dude that hit you, but he was helping you be the number one artist, make the number one song, go meet all your favorite celebrities, go to all your favorite basketball and football games, soccer games, do all the things you literally dreamed of. The only thing that comes with it getting hit on and having some freak offs. A ton of people, if they had to be honest with themselves, would sign up for that in a heartbeat. They just wouldn't. To get popped a couple times, because even from the documentary footage, um, I'm not saying it was right, but compared to some of the domestic violence I've seen in my life, she got scratched, like literally scratched, bruises that weren't even large, and a gash on the eye that was a little tough. But a ton of people right now will tell you they'll take that for all the fame, money, and sex. They will. They really will. And I think that's where you can't get too caught up in like wanting to feel bad for someone else who might not feel as bad for themselves as you're feeling. Excuse me. Which, you know, to some people I might sound crazy, but it's just the truth. It just is like sometimes a lot of times people are choosing, you know, to put up with things. Like even for example, the Lil Rod dude talking about he woke up one day sore, not being able to explain. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. He slithered that thing in between your things, man. And is that right or wrong? I mean, how wrong can it be if after that you don't do what you got to do to get right? If you don't do what you got to do to get the evidence to set him up, if you don't do what you got to do to implicate him for these things you're saying about him. These people are saying they're scammed out of so many dollars, but they're not getting contracts with them. They're not getting text messages between them. They're just going off of words. But let your uncle tell you, "Hey, nephew, let me just hold $500. I'll get it back to you." Oh, no, we about to make this move. Just help me. I'm gonna help you make $10,000. But you know it's a scam, so you don't do it. You know, so it's like that's what happens to a lot of people. And really, in the Diddy situation, that's kind of like a lot better. Yeah, you're getting quote unquote scammed, but you're getting the attention, you're getting the publicity and all that. I think what really hurts for a lot of these people is that when they get in these situations, they don't ever go through all of that and find a way to flip it into something. I think that's what really hurts them. Like it feels like they do a lot of the things and put up with a lot of things they put up with for nothing. And that makes anybody bitter or salty for their negligence, their naiveness, and really overall just not thinking situations out in a smart way. I feel a little disheartened to put things that way because I don't want to victim blame. But it's simply just the case, and I think that this documentary has just taught me really everything that I've like learned from 50 Cent. It's just that this game is a game. It's all about learning how to play it and going by the laws of power to keep on moving up in the game. You know, some people try to say the laws of power and whatnot is like a jinx or a hoax or like it's just how white people move or whatever. No, it's like everything that's industry based, which is everything in America, which is everything in the world. It's all in the system. And you have to play by its rules. Okay? Nobody's breaking the rules to get into the position. They're playing by the rules. And they're just telling you a different story. You know, I'm not saying you have to lose your soul, but you have to lose a lot of empathy and sympathy. And you have to be a different beast. And it's just about how far you want that monster to be created before you feel like you're not human no more. That's how I look at it. That's why I always be saying like I feel like I could never chase for $1 billion. Because it's like to get to $1 billion, the person I would have to become is no longer really human. You mean to tell me you're sitting at 900, you're sitting at $950 million, whether it's liquid or net, you're sitting at that amount of money and you're not putting it into anything significant to change all kinds of injustices around the world. And it's not rocket science to know that $200 million would solve a ton of problems in the United States of America, or at least in the state, or at least in the city, let alone a city. Any of these multi-billionaires could easily put in $5 million in their whole state, spread it out through a couple police stations for reform and better programs, and have some of the best police and lower crime rates even better and increase morale, knowing that people aren't mad. Like, that's just a whole other thing. Let's not get into all that. But I'll say more than anything that from watching this documentary, what I took away that, like I said in the beginning, that money, it's just powerful. It's too damn powerful at this point, and it'll help you get away with anything. It'll help you put you in any position you want when you play the game right. So I just think that, not that I'm saying become a person that abuses people and sexually take advantage of people and drug people and all. I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying that, like, if there's anything out there that you want to complete, you can do it, but you have to turn yourself into a different monster, to a different beast, you know? And that's just my way of trying to spin something positive on some shit that this dude did that was obviously just very negative things that this man has done, you know? Like, it looks good on the outside, it looks flashy, it looks like he's moving the culture, but that's his genius, to make you think that's what he does. Nah, he just a freak that just knows how to, turn everything into gold, at least make it look like gold. Saying, because it's crazy, because it is hilarious his power in music, yet he's so untalented. You watch the documentary and you sit there and think, dang, man can't make music. He can't even make music. You're DJ Khaled, you're French Montana. And I also took that away. The way they was throwing in French Montana at the end there, I think Mr. Curtis Jackson, he's sure that was kind of in there for a reason. Um, but yeah, that's my raw initial reaction to what I just watched. I want to keep it kind of short and sweet. And that's really it. Just be safe out here. And if you're in this game to win at a high level, again, you have to be prepared to turn yourself into a different beast. And that's what we'll call it. Okay. So you guys have a good one. Take care of yourselves. Like this. Share it with anybody else who watched the Diddy video. And comment down below what you thought about the whole Diddy documentary. I really wasn't gonna watch it for the longest, but then my girl was like, "Let's watch it," so we watched it.